Hi, I'm Evie. My mom got pregnant many years after she married my dad, and they were both overjoyed to have a daughter. My parents were anxiously awaiting my birth, but at the maternity hospital, they were told that I was too young. The doctors even suggested that I was a midget. Mom and Dad were worried, of course. They were afraid I wouldn't grow up to be a normal child. And in the maternity hospital, they told them that it would be better to give me to an orphanage. Mom then gave them such a scandal. She said she didn't care what I was, as long as I was healthy. All my childhood, I was under medical supervision, and every time at the appointments, my parents were told that I was behind in height and weight. For example, when I was 8 years old, I looked 5. My father even reproached my mother once, like I was not his daughter, since his family is all tall and stately. So there was a scolding. Mom started yelling at Dad, throwing things at him, and in the end, she packed his things and kicked him out of the house. I never saw Dad again. But my mother tried to give me everything she could, and she was always on my side. I remember one day a friend of Mom's invited us to her daughter's birthday party. It was a cool party. Pony, clown, balloons, fireworks, and everything. When we got to the party, though, the kids started teasing me, telling me I was a schmuck and undergrown. It was very offensive. My mom always said I shouldn't let others hurt me, so I decided it was time to fight back. I jumped on those nasty kids, and a fight broke out. Then my mom got into a fight with her friend over me, and she never spoke to her again. Evie, you did good, and I'm proud of you. Those kids are just rude little orcs. I'm sorry I made you fight with Mrs. Schmidt. It's okay, honey. I don't need friends who can't even teach their kids manners. You're very beautiful, and it's not about height or weight. You're beautiful at heart. My mother always tried to cheer me up, but I understood that she saw me that way because I was her daughter. The school wasn't easy for me either, but at least I made friends. Millie is my best friend, except she's a whole 2 heads taller than I am, and when I talk to her, I get 2 steps taller. Otherwise, my neck starts hurting. I'm always looking up. Evie, I wish I was as small as you. Well, what for? I can't even get anything off the shelf properly. I have to put a stool down. At least they don't call you a bobblehead and an overgrowth. Do you think I'm better off as an undergrowth? We always laughed about it. It was funny to look at us when we were walking next to each other. It was a kind of Shaquille O'Neal and a midget. Millie and I were inseparable, though. We did everything together. My friend was on the high school girls' basketball team, and I went to all her competitions. One day, they were playing against a team from the neighboring school, so as usual, I went along to support Millie. The whole game, I was shouting encouraging slogans and yelled when my friend hit the hoop. In fact, I thought my screams could be heard in the neighboring streets. After the tournament, I ran up to Millie, congratulated her on her victory, and hugged her. And then I heard a strange laugh from the side. Turning my head, I saw a tall, handsome guy with a snow-white smile. Millie followed my gaze and whispered in my ear, "That's Jake. He's from our rival school." What is he laughing about? Nothing. It's just you guys look funny, especially when you're hugging. What do you think this is? A circus? Get out of here. Quiet, Evie. I'm sorry, Jake. You just hurt my friend. You better keep your chihuahua on a leash and a muzzle. She might bite somebody. Who are you, you jerk? Millie put her hand over my mouth and quickly led me away to the locker room. What are you? He's an ill-mannered jackass who needs to be put in his place. Evie, calm down. He's the girls' favorite around here. If they hear you talking to him, they're going to be very unhappy. What a bore. He freaks me out. You know, he's not a bad guy. He's just got a different sense of humor. Yeah, a humiliating one. And Millie was right. It didn't take too long for the local girls to show up. As we exited the building, someone upstairs yelled at my friend, and at that moment, I saw a flower pot flying at us. I pushed Millie away, but I knew I wouldn't be able to bounce back in time for myself. Then I felt this weight on me. What was it? I opened my eyes to see Jake lying on top of me. There was a big bump on his head. Millie called for an ambulance, and the girls ran up to us and started screaming that this was all our fault, and if we'd been nice, that this wouldn't have happened. The paramedics came eventually and took Jake to the hospital. Millie and I went home. All night, I wondered, why would Jake do that? Why would he risk himself for some unknown girl, who, moreover, he'd had a fight with a short time before? I decided that I needed to visit him in the hospital. He did save me, or at least my head. I didn't tell my friend about my decision. I was still ashamed of my behavior. I hadn't been very polite, after all, and that guy was a little too cocky. In the morning, I went to the hospital. When I opened the door of the room, I saw that Jake was already sitting up in bed, chatting nicely with a young nurse. What a sly and self-righteous type. I coughed to be noticed. Jake turned his head in my direction and immediately cringed in pain. Hey, you're feeling much better, aren't you? I'm glad. Hi, yeah, I feel better. But still, it feels like a flower pot fell on me. Huh. So, still managing to make jokes, huh? Thanks for saving us. Thanks to you, Millie and I didn't get hurt. Come on, there's nothing heroic about that. Besides, if that pot had fallen on you, it would have crushed you. You wouldn't have gotten away with just a bump. I was ready to get angry, but I realized that he was joking with me in a good way. There was nothing offensive in what he said. In some moments, he was even nice. Ugh, what was I talking about? I must have hit my head when I fell too. We chatted some more. I left him the fruit I'd brought and went back to school. In class, Millie asked why we didn't go together today. For some reason, I just didn't want to tell her about my visit with Jake, so I just told her I had something else to do. I didn't go see Jake anymore, but I thought about him all the time. And a few days later, as we were leaving school, I heard the girls discussing someone. Oh, he's so cool. Look, he's not from our school. He must have come to see his girlfriend. How I envy her. I began to look around to see what kind of Apollo had stirred up the whole school, and what was my surprise when I saw Jake. He noticed me and waved. What do you want here? Wow, weren't you taught to say hello, rude girl? Hello, I muttered. Thank you. I'm fine. My head doesn't hurt at all anymore. I see. You're sure you feel all right? I said, but my conscience took over. Yeah, well, we need to talk. Let's go for a walk. We went to the park, and Jake told me that the girls at his school were out for revenge. They think it's my fault their favorite boy got hurt. He immediately warned me to be careful. That was so nice of him. We exchanged phone numbers, and in case there was a problem, he told me to call him. From that day on, we started texting each other. Jake turned out to be a very nice and interesting guy. It was strange that I hadn't wanted to notice that before. Every day we got closer. We even went for walks and went to the movies together. I told Millie that Jake was courting me. She had a weird reaction to that. She started reminding me that I'd said mean things about him and that I was pissed off at him. Millie, who was always kind and reserved, was against my talking to him. She always said that he would only get me into trouble. Because of this, my friend and I fought a lot and started to talk less. One day I came to school and realized everyone was looking at me and laughing. I couldn't understand what was wrong. I looked around from head to toe, but my clothes were fine. As I walked down the hall, I could feel the stares on me. And then I saw it. There was a picture of me hanging on the door of my locker. What do I mean, a picture? More like a photoshopped picture. Of a girl with my face and in her underwear hugging 3 guys. Damn, I've never felt so humiliated. I ran out of school in tears. My legs were just carrying me. I couldn't even see where I was going, and I didn't know why. I just wanted the shame to stop. Then my phone rang. It was Jake. Evie, where are you? Are you all right? We need to talk. Get me out of here. Now, I'll be there right now. Just wait. I sat down on a bench, covered my face with my hands, and waited. But what could Jake do for me? I didn't know. Probably nothing. Just having him around might help. Jake was quick. I told him everything, told him it wasn't me in the picture. It was good that he believed me. His face grew darker and darker as I explained the details to him. He threw on his hoodie and walked me home and told me not to worry about a thing. Promised me he'd figure it out. The next morning I went to school as usual, but those people still laughed at me. And Jake promised to help me solve everything. Another chatterbox and a liar. I walked into the classroom, sat down at my desk, and hid my face in my hands. Then there was a strange crunching sound, and I heard familiar voices. I know you did it because of me. You like me so much that you set up your best friend. I don't know what you're talking about. I realized that the conversation could be heard from the speakers, and the speakers were in the radio room. That's a pity. I thought I'd met someone who would do anything for me. So I was lied to, and it wasn't you. So you liked that picture? It was professionally done. Aren't you worried about your friend? She won't be lost. Everything's always forgiven by her, because she's so little and everyone thinks she's so cute. Well, you're as tall as a model. Lucky. And we're the right height for each other. I think so too. Besides, I've liked you for a long time. I took this picture to stop Evie from getting all clingy with you. Evie, did you hear that? That's who wanted to hurt you. Oh, The sound was interrupted. I ran to the radio room. I saw Millie on the stairs, went up to her, and slapped her across the face. Why? You're my best friend. Best friend? Ugh, don't be ridiculous. I liked Jake, and you just took him away. He was the one who started wooing me. If I'd known you liked him, I wouldn't have even looked at him. So give him up. No, not now. Not because of you. You're not worth me sacrificing my happiness. Millie blushed with anger and ran downstairs. I was so hurt by her betrayal that she was the kind of person who would undo years of friendship. I noticed Jake walking toward me. I rushed over to him and hugged him, crying bitterly. Shh. I'm sorry I had to tell you the truth like this, but otherwise you would never have believed me. I will always protect you. You're my little angel with a steel character. I love you so much for that, and I won't let anyone hurt you, not even your best friend. Tell me, guys, did you like my story? Write your opinion about it in the comments below the video. Don't forget to like it, share the video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel.